Yeah. So Lamar Jackson was just franchised. He was just given a franchise, and Gary, it was a non-exclusive franchise tag. That woo gave him the non-exclusive franchise tag. Jim just happened. Baltimore
Okay.
Ravens, and so and I've been covering the league for a long time. Tell the people what that means. Non-exclusive franchise tag in English for those
Yeah.
and for the dogs in the audience. What does that mean?
It means that now other teams can talk with him and they can make a contract offer to him. And whatever that offer is now, the Ravens have an opportunity, a right of first refusal, basically. They can either match it and keep the player, or they can decline to match it and therefore would receive 2 first-round draft picks in exchange, and Lamar would then sign with the club that made the offer to him. So the question becomes, depending on what the offer is, are the Ravens willing to meet whatever that price is, or the value that another franchise has placed on Lamar? Or are they saying, for us, 2 first-round picks is more valuable than the player? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm just so curious, and I would love to know how they arrived at this decision to put the
See,
non-exclusive franchise tag on them, because I look at it, Jim. You tell me if I've just got it. I'm sure I just got it all twisted, but if it's my guy, if it's Lamar Jackson, he's got the profile that he does. I know the playoff performances haven't been that great. He's never won a Super Bowl, but he's been an MVP at the age of 23. You drafted him at the end of the first
unanimous.
round, great value, all that stuff, all wonderful things. And you keep saying he's our guy, we like him, and hard worker and rare talent. I'm just not letting, if I'm trying to do my business, Jim, and I love you. Jim, I love you. I'm just going to use my own example. If I have something to do at my house, I'm not going to make it open so Jim Trotter can come in and determine my budget. I mean, and you're my boy. I mean, why would I allow, I've got a vision of how I want this thing to go, how much I want to pay. Now I've opened up the portal and allowed 31 other teams, theoretically, 31 other teams to come in, and they can screw up my budget if they want to. Or if I want them to go, you go ahead and sign to a contract. I'll take your draft picks. It's just so, it's so loose. It's so fatalistic. It's so ridiculous. It lacks real vision, in my opinion. And I'm surprised because, as I've told Rita Hubbard, the football chick, many times, I have such high regard for the Ravens. I always think they do it right. And the last year or so, I'm not so sure.
I think you were spot on with that at the end. They have been one of the best run organizations in the NFL for some time now. But in this Lamar Jackson situation, I think they have handled it about as poorly as you can. Let's go back a couple of years ago when he first became eligible for an extension. If you were the Ravens at that point, you would want to get it done there, because teams seem to forget that every year that you wait to sign a franchise quarterback, the price goes up. So it's not like you're helping yourself by waiting from that standpoint. Now, I heard another reporter say today that, well, Lamar hurt himself a few years ago when he didn't use his leverage at that point, and he played for $1.7 million instead of holding out to get the long-term extension. And my response to that is, Michael, you know this. If Lamar Jackson at that point had said, I'm not stepping on the field unless I get a long-term multi-year deal, the fallout would have been, what a selfish player, and how can somebody pass up this money? And particularly, and I'm not taking race out of the equation, we're talking about a black quarterback here, how that would have been met by some in the population. So I think Lamar said at that point, you know what? I'm not hurting my team. I'm betting on myself. And he went out and he played. And now last year again, he's saying, I know what my value is. I know what my worth is. You are not going to tell me what my value is. And so he has held firm to that. And so, as I have said to you in the past, Lamar Jackson is probably my favorite player in the NFL. I know as
Is that
reporters, from this standpoint, Michael, he is the most authentic player I have seen come into the NFL in some time. He does not care what I think. He does not care what you think. He does not care what anyone else thinks. It's only about what he thinks and what his small circle of advisors and people and family think. And he holds true to that. So from that standpoint, one thing I love about any individual is authenticity, especially when it is someone who is positive and productive. And that is Lamar Jackson. So for me, I say, Lamar, do your thing, get your money, because owners are going to get their money in the best way that they can. And that's the NFL, and that's big business.
Well, he's going to win regardless. His worst case scenario, is he's going to make $32 million this year with the Baltimore Ravens and not have a long-term deal. No, that's not bad. Okay, that's the worst case scenario for him. Best case scenario is that one of these other teams swoops in and signs him to a contract that is significantly more, obviously, than that $32 million. And so Lamar Jackson doesn't care what you think or I think, but I care what you think. And I want to know, what do you think is going to happen? Because if I'm the Jets, as we talk about them,
how about if you're the Dolphins?
I was going to say, Dolphins? But the Jets are sitting here with Aaron Rodgers. They're going back and forth, and hey, it's not going to cost them that much. It's going to cost Green Bay more if they move them to New York. They're going to get a $40 million dead money hit, which is outrageous, right? But the Jets can handle him. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, the cap numbers are not that high. But right. You've been negotiating with the Packers for Aaron Rodgers. Wouldn't you now think, wait a minute, Lamar Jackson is younger. He doesn't have the resume that Aaron Rodgers does. But we're not talking about a 2-year window. We get a veteran quarterback. He's technically a veteran quarterback who's not even 30 years old. Why don't we just go and throw some dollars at Lamar Jackson and let somebody else get Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. I mean, it's just that the possibilities are open now for a lot of teams who are looking in the draft for a quarterback or looking around the league. And now there's this, I know 2 first round picks is significant. I'm not trying to say, oh, that's nothing to pay, but for Lamar Jackson,
but it's not really.
I don't think the price is that high.
No, it's not. And right? Particularly if you're a team like Miami that's drafting at the bottom of the first round this year, let's say, or near the bottom, why wouldn't you give up 2 first rounds? Look, we all know the draft is a crapshoot as it is, particularly if you're drafting a quarterback in the top 10. History has shown us that more of them are going to fail to live up to that expectation of being a franchise quarterback than will actually become a franchise quarterback. So from that standpoint, if you have a proven commodity in Lamar Jackson, who, as you say, is young, who is, by all accounts, a tremendous leader, I'll never forget this, Michael. So his second year, I'm at the Hall of Fame game. And mind you, he has only started, I think at that point, 6 games or something from the previous year, from his rookie season. So I'm at the Hall of Fame game and I'm talking with someone from the organization who had been with the organization since it was in Cleveland. And this person says to me, Lamar Jackson, among his teammates, is the most popular player that I've ever seen. And I said, wait a minute, hold on here. I said, you've had Ed Reed, you've had Ray Lewis, Jonathan Ogden, others, and you're going to tell me a guy who hasn't even played 2 full seasons is the most popular player among his teammates you've ever seen? And this player said, absolutely. And I think part of that goes back to what I said to you earlier about his authenticity. All Lamar Jackson cares about is winning and being there for his guys, in terms of doing right. Now, business is a separate issue here. And I remember the day after he was drafted when I met with him. We flew out to Baltimore, met with him. I said, Lamar, I'm going to give you 2 choices here. You can have a gold jacket as a Hall of Famer, or you can have a Vince Lombardi trophy as a Super Bowl champion. Which one are you taking? And he didn't hesitate. He said the Vince Lombardi trophy. He said, I have won a Heisman. And he said, if I win a Super Bowl, people know who I am. They'll know what I've done. The rest will come. His focus was on winning a championship. That's who Lamar is as I know it. That's what he is about. And nothing in his past that I know since he got into the NFL has been something that is disingenuous or a straight out falsehood to us. He is who he is. he doesn't hide it, and he goes out, he wins games, and he wins over teammates.
All right, now, Jim, I'm just going to be, I feel like it's important to be transparent at all times. As I get a little bit older, I'm trying to get a little bit better at that, a little bit better. I'm a work in progress. Okay, let's put it that way. I'm a work in progress. So I will tell you that the entire league, every franchise for me is on notice because of the NFLPA report that came out last week. Great job by the PA of just giving us information about each franchise and how they do business as a workplace, weight rooms and nutrition, strength coaches, all that stuff. Y'all, some of y'all are nasty, okay? Some of y'all are nasty and you're cheap. Hey, Jacksonville, you can't get an exterminator to get rats out. It takes you a month to get rid of rats. You're just nasty and you're trifling. Okay. So every franchise has something, except for Minnesota and Las Vegas. Way up there, players love what they're doing in Minnesota and Las Vegas. New facilities, everything's great. But most of these franchises, it made me look 2 or 3 times at franchises that I had never really questioned before. I'm like, oh, really? Y'all do that kind of stuff? So I have to let you know that because I'm naturally going to be critical of management because of what I saw last week. I think every management team in the NFL really needs to do some self-scouting and open up the budget a little bit more. It's embarrassing in a lot of cases. That being said, can we make a case for Baltimore? Like they drafted the player, they developed him, they rebuilt their offense around him. They were there when he won his MVP. Why? I mean, like if I did that, there's no way I'm letting that guy go. Do they know something? Have they seen something? Because they're generally not, these are the A students. They don't sit in the back of the class, playing video games during the lecture.
Look,
they pay attention. They see Professor Trotter. They see Professor Trotter during office hours. You know what I mean? Like these are your good students. Why wouldn't they? What are they missing?
To me, the writing was on the wall. The minute Deshaun Watson signed that contract, fully guaranteed contract, and we heard and saw Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti come out and criticize that deal as being bad for the league and essentially something the Ravens were not going to follow suit with. And for me, that's when I said, this has the ability to get ugly, right? That if they are not going to pay Lamar, who I believe is a transcendent talent, something that another quarterback who I believe is not his equal received, there's going to be a problem. And we're seeing that now. So look, I don't know the intricacies of what exactly has been offered to Lamar that I can confirm or what he wants necessarily. But the little bit I think I do know about Lamar is he understands his value. And he is not going to let the Ravens determine what his value is.
I'll tell you this, Jim Trotter. March 15th. Teams have until March 15th. Come up with an offer, or they can start coming up with offers on March 15th for Lamar Jackson. Give up a couple of first-round picks? Sure, I would. For an opportunity to have Lamar Jackson as my quarterback for the next 5, 6, 10 years? Certainly. The story continues. It's a big day in Baltimore. And I think, is it Baltimoreans? Is that what y'all call yourselves? It's a sad day.
Right now they call themselves frustrated.
Oh, yeah, that too. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.